actually there's a lot of implications. Whatever you say, it's very deep, and you're only scratching the surface.
Yeah.
You're only trying to highlight the symptoms, right? But I want to know, of course, there's, in all situations, I would have to say to you, to my viewers, my thinking is that whatever system, either A or B, A, there's pros and cons, right? B, there's pros and cons. Because we're living on this earth, and because I'm a Christian, there's only perfection on heaven. Wherever we go, there's always imperfection. And of course, I think it's very simplified for me. And I'm not here to put an opinion. I'm here to give you the platform and anyone to talk about your opinion. I want to also you to unpack a little bit. Typical Hong Kong person like yourself seems to be very aware politically woke. And you are gearing everything according to your political inclination and political awareness, right? Besides political, is there other unseen forces that we probably from my point of view, as someone who's outside, we see that this is coming. The tsunami is coming because it is such a small city that is packing in millions and millions of people. Jobs, are there going to be enough jobs? The property prices, are they going to be good enough for my children or even for myself to retire? And you know, I'd like to even you to highlight a little bit about, you know, the last time I go to Hong Kong was in 2012. 10 years ago, okay? Even though it's so close, I used to go there. But what I didn't like was staying in the hotels because it is so small. And if I go a little bit cheaper, which is very expensive, even for the rates of Singapore, it is so small and not really livable. You know, even for the Singapore standard, because Singapore is really like very small. Is there such social forces that is actually undercurrent in the midst of all these tsunami forces inside? Because people are thinking, maybe there's a generation of young people who are better off because the forefathers worked so hard, right? You can see Hong Kong really from nothing, right? In one generation, they built something up from nothing with no government policy, so they really built something up with their bare hands. And you can see through Hong Kong, you know, even the entertainment industry. You can see last time we were young, black and white, and then now it's such a flourishing. And everybody knows about Hong Kong through the entertainment industry, like Jackie Chan, and even the song Shanghai Tang. The whole world knows it, right? People know this through a very basic media, and the Hong Kong people really build it up. Is there something also this part of the unseen force which is so strong that people think that, hey, their future, because of A, because of B, it is indirectly affecting their future opportunities, the way they live, because there's going to be so many people. Because there's so many people, it's going to like demand for my flat. They're going to demand for my job. I'm going to compete with these people. And then the people are coming in are so different from us. All of this are being kind of like gelled up. Force that is being like packed inside in this small little island that is so vibrant. The people are so intelligent and they have no outlet. I mean, this is how I see it. What do you think about my comments?
I would say it's quite precise to describe Hong Kong scenario now. Is that we do have lots of problems politically or economically, and yes, they are interlocking. And I can't really say okay, this is political stuff, this is apolitical stuff, this is pure economics, and because you can. I'm sorry to say that it's just this is political sunshine, right? This
Yeah.
like
The political is like the CEO of the company, right? The CEO
yeah,
of the company, they list the policies that distills and filters down to the whole macro organization. Am I right?
yeah,
So
yeah, and
policies change above, everything else changes. Can I say that?
yeah, maybe I use an example in the like previous 10 years
Mm.
after 2008, after the credit crisis, um, and after SARS maybe,
Yeah.
The central government gave lots of perks to Hong Kongers, like the CEPA, and also the one of the thing is the mainland tourists lah. You can see mainland tourists flocking into Hong Kong, right? And they purchase lots of stuff because of a good exchange rate, because of the genuine the trust upon our shops, and it is making a huge loss of money for the tourists and the retail sectors. And later on, it becomes a norm or a trend that you can see you can see the retail sectors and the tourist sectors entertaining the Chinese tourists are blooming. But at the same time, they are jeopardizing the society or the community or killing the diversity of other tourism, which is not closely related or tied to the mainland tourism demographic. Yeah, so this is one of the issues that we're seeing for now, because of the blooming retail industry. This is on one hand, brands like selling jewelries or big brands like LV or Prada. Mainland tourists would love to buy from Hong Kong because of the good exchange rate and we have good credibility. But at the same time, we're seeing more and more same shops or same kind or similar structure shopping malls or luxury brands being built along the street without and then later on the landlord is trying to force or evict small tenants to go out because you're not making enough money, and
Okay,
that makes
that makes a lot of sense. Okay, now you really gearing into my understanding.
yeah
Now I really get the grasp.
yeah
Now I'm getting into the grasp because we're talking about the grassroots, how it
yeah
affects the people. And I want to know, is in very generalized terms, am I right to use this word like the benefits of whatever economic uh, benefits that's coming in only
yeah
benefits a small group of people.
exactly
The rest of the people, which is a huge population, instead of benefiting it, they are suffering from it because of this.
if
Like
if
because
not
of, can I say that?
at least not if not suffering is at least not benefiting
Not benefiting. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least not benefiting. But obviously, some community is having a suffering, like people in Shanghai or other places. But yes, many of the populations did not benefit from this kind of huge bloom.
Okay. Okay. Now we have talked about one aspect. We talked about direction B, right? Because we talked about direction. Now we need to talk about pros and cons, right? Because we're in a very analytical mind now.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any benefit if Hong Kong becomes and merge into Shenzhen?
That really depends on the extent of how Shenzhen it is.
Yeah.
Would it become a case that we're so taking the tourism as an example, right? If we truly become Shenzhen, so can I assume that there will be fake products and counterfeits all on the street? Can I assume that? Would that be a pro or would that be a con? I really doubt that in terms of Hong Kong's international reputation. And this can be amplified into our what we take in pride into is like our professional system in terms of accounting, law, contract. If one day we become a place that is city in China. I'm not saying that those cities are not good. They're cool. I've been to those places as well. It's just we have our uniqueness. It's just our uniqueness is rooted very deep within our very treasure, professional, and reputation that we have built for like hundreds of years. And we don't want
probably for the sake of our viewers and for the sake of myself, we nail down to examples.
Yeah.
Respect of intellectual property.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, respect of intellectual property. So, if one day we became another Samsana, for instance, so can we still gain the trust of the international tourists, or maybe just the mainland tourists to buy stuff from our city, if that's the case, right? If we are saying that if we are going to adopt that kind of system B mechanism, that the intellectual property is not that important in that place.
Do you think that like, you know, some people want A, right? Okay, then you got B. B, there's pros and cons, right? Talk about A and B, and then A. A, let's say we go direction A, independence, right? Is there pros and cons? No, just universal suffrage. Okay, just universal suffrage.
Yeah, universal.
Okay, not like Taiwan, right? Just universal suffrage.
Don't do that.
Is there pros and cons? I mean, is there advantage, disadvantage also? If it's going to be like independent, independent in terms of like you chart your own fate, not politically, but independent as in you're given your autonomy.
Yeah. I think from my point of view is if we are able to select our government, or at least get a vote, or at least they got accountable to our vote. Because we've seen like the Singapore system, which you guys have a vote, but but at least when politicians are being really accountable to their citizens, to their voters, instead of some big boss up ahead, then maybe they can think of what they should really do for ourselves, for us, not for themselves, not for their promotion, but really for making us, or at least trying to make a society better. Then later on, or say like 4 or 5 years later, then we will again vote for you.
I want to ask for yourself, what's your vision, your own personal vision? If you have if you are a determining factor and that you think you have a wish list, what is your vision that you would like to see yourself living in?
I would say the representation thing is really important, because under the Hong Kong system is that both the Legislative Council, the lawmakers, and the CE and the cabinet is equally important in terms of whenever a motion is raised by the CE or cabinet or his cabinet, the Legislative Council, the lawmakers have to discuss in the council, and then to see if the motion is gone or whatsoever. So I would say if we can really select both our lawmakers and our leaders, then things hopefully would be better.
Can you say in more concrete terms, for my personal understanding?
Yeah, sure.
Like your in that is on the highest level, right? On your livelihood, on your life. What kind of vision and hope you see for yourself for the future? You have a daughter that is 10 years old, right?
So to be brutally honest, people in our age, don't really have a hope or vision in this city. And you can yeah, and you can hear, or maybe after the pandemic, actually you can already hear news that the British government is offering BNO passport holder a 5-year not really citizenship, but that they can stay there for 5 years and then they can apply for citizenship. And many people of my age, under my age or older, is actually considering moving out of this city. We are that kind of hopeless.
Can I say that, first I want to thank you for being very honest. Can I say that for ordinary citizens, ordinary people like you and I, even if the American government give us a green card or British government give us a green card, when you go to another place, you are starting from zero. Giving you a passport, right? Does it solve anything?
Yes and no.
Okay, firstly,
yes. Firstly, I got your point, because like, especially for a professional like me, it's like I work for PR marketing, right? So if I'm going to like Canada or UK or Australia, I have to, I must admit that I may have to start from zero, or maybe I have to change to another profession. But at the same time, apart from the economic loss, if I have to say loss, what we gain is a more liberal society, a better education system for my kids, and also a better social welfare system. Even if I have to pay more tax, I'm happy to pay with. Firstly,
I think you have put the nail on the head. I totally understand now. Now the fuzz is gone. The smoke and you know, it's all gone, because we are talking about am I right to say this? I'm talking to you. You are a generation that is going into a very turbulent time now, because Hong Kong is either going A or B, or probably even C. We don't know, right? So A or B or unknown C, okay, which we don't know yet. And this turbulent time is defining your generation. And your generation, in a way, do not have a vision. You are only you do not have a vision because you are in this state whereby you feel you don't have the hope, and you're willing to even give up economic stability, which is so important for Asians, right? You're willing to give up your economic stability and your future and your career that you've built in your home, to give it all up, to go to another place to start all over, which also define that level of
hope.
No hope.
Yeah, hopelessness.
Yeah, because you're, you know, for Asians, right? You and I, we are Asians. What are we grown up with? We must have a house. We must have a career. We must have money in the bank.
Come
out of poverty. But for people to be willing to give this all up, when at time there's no war, can you imagine this generation? And I think for this, you have actually spoken in a very, to me, in a very clear term, what defines your generation now, and why you all are fighting for this universal suffrage. Because the universal suffrage is a very simple and clear, definable term that is the only thing you can fight for. What else can you fight for? You can't say, I'm going to fight for economy, because economy is such a big, huge thing, right? You can't say, I'm fighting for my banking industry. I can't fight that I'm fighting for the education. You can't say that, but you're fighting for something that is defined, achievable, within a time frame called X amount of time. You need to put in this legislators be up there, so people understand. Now I understand. You've put it very clear terms. And this is the only thing that you all are latching onto. That's why universal suffrage is always in the news. Thank you so much. You know, before that, I can't really understand. But you know, I just want to ask you a little bit more. If you're given this 5-year, 10-year, or X number of years of residence in the UK, because of the very special relationship I had in the past with the UK government. What do you need to do? What are the advantages and disadvantages for you to go over? There must be advantage, right? But pros and cons, both sides.
Not only UK, let me put it this way. If I'm moving to another country, let's say
Canada,
Canada or New Zealand.
Or US,
wherever which is on your reader's mind. Or maybe Singapore. I know some friends trying to move into Singapore.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, a lot. So actually many of us don't really like the idea that we have to move out. It's more like asylum seeking. Like it's like a landman. It's like a refugee. But at the same time, I think we have the acknowledge. There is an acknowledged consent that if we are moving to another country or another system, that we have to respect people over there, and then try not to harm the economy by flocking in too much immigrants all over in a very short period of time, and this is very painful.
Give me 3 pros and 3 cons.
The pros will be more liberal living environment, and hopefully a more reasonable cost of living, and thirdly is a better education system and welfare system, or I would say the society benefit as a whole in terms of welfare. And cons will be obviously you're losing your jobs, or you have to re-specialize into something else, into someone else. And then secondly, which is the identity crisis, that maybe because not all of us are very ready to blend into another community, right? And then thirdly will be
the cost of moving.
The cost of moving is we're very we have taken that into account. The third one will be quite sentimental, is that you have to leave a place that you have been grown and raised up to, but and you suppose you have very many vision over this place, and this is a place that you call home, and then all of a sudden or in a very short period of time that the brutal hard fact check in and say, hey, you have to go, or else you're becoming someone else that you don't want to, and your kids would probably become someone you don't want to.
If now the British government has already announced in the media, media. If now today the British Commission comes to you and say, Dave, I'm giving you this green card, what will you do? And what's your decision?
I'm not moving to British, because I've been there and I don't quite like that places. But my family is actually thinking of moving as well. So we will have like 1 or 2 places on our list, and we're getting things run already.
That means in real terms, you are already not only mentally preparing, but you're already physically preparing.
Yeah, we're filing things. We are doing the language test, this and that. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
and we're going to have the site visit and see different places where to buy our houses, la la la.
Can I also say that for you are privileged because you have the financial means to live. Unpacking and then going somewhere and packing does cost money, right? It does cost, because even shipment, even settling down. That's why even if a company sends you to somewhere to work, they have to pay for all their expenses, right? 10, 20, 30,000 for settling down. Without disclosing any of your confidential preparation, how much do you think you all per person, per capita, or per family, willing or preparing that this sum of money is for you to relocate?
I would say, I'm not saying this is my number, but roughly, if you have like 1 mil Hong Kong, which is quite safe if you are not a big spender, and
Which is 1 mil is almost like 200,000 Singapore dollars divided by 5. Divide a coin divided by 5, you know.
And I assume that you didn't need to immediately buy a flat over there. You can still rent a place. Then you can slowly blend into the community. And I'm saying that you're not living in places like New York or London, that which have an even higher living standard in Hong Kong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're going to some moderate and humble or average city that everyone can be livable. And I think as long as you got some saving in your pocket, and then you have quite a stable job, disregarded what kind of job that you are doing, you may have to be a blue collar. Even I have to maybe have to be a blue collar. But as long as I'm going for a change, I'm looking for a more liberal society, then I think people are fine. Like with you can have like 1 million Hong Kong dollars, or maybe less. Depends on if you're lucky enough, you get a job placement over there, then you'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I say you're more privileged, because you do have the financial needs. What about a lot of people? They want to go back, you know, because of many financial reasons.
Yeah. So and then
relocate.
Yeah, that's how we become very immigration policy savvy. Yeah, that becomes our group's topics between friends, and talk about, hey, this kind of career or this kind of jobs is actually on demand in certain countries, and you may want to have a try. We're running this kind of discussion like every day, every week, whenever we'll meet up.
I would like that to be our third part of the session. You know, if you can also invite another friend, then you know, a very open conversation.
Actually, I'm thinking if I can invite one of my friends who is already in Australia.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
The three of us can have a very good conversation.